we're back to these are the two Silk Road attempts, right? This is 1644 Bengal, and it's just this little area here, and this is 1632 Bamanas. You might have guessed I had a much easier time with Bamanas than Bengal, mostly because of the Deuce Vault CB. You can attack anyone you want and take any province you want at any time you want. So it's much easier that way. Deuce Vault, of course, I don't know, I think that means like for God, but it's the first part of the religious idea. And since I've done this, in between videos I do lots more research, and what I've learned from some of the research is the idea, and I kind of like this idea, is that you would take religious as your first idea, just get Deuce Vault, don't get the rest of it. Because the rest of this stuff, missionaries, additional missionary, stability cost, missionary strength, tolerance of the true faith, which is just -1 revolt risk, a little bit of prestige, missionary strength versus heretics, and culture conversion cost. The rest of this stuff isn't nearly as important as the CB. So you can take just the first thing, and then in the future, when you get access to the imperialism CB at Diplotech 22, imperialism is a better CB than Deuce Vault, and it allows you to attack anyone for any reason, the same as Deuce Vault, but with Deuce Vault you can only attack your neighbors. With imperialism you can attack anywhere in the world, and then you would just drop this idea and pick up a different idea once you get imperialism. But that's not going to come into play, because another thing that I learned from my research, you can see that my tech level is, I'm 3 years ahead of tech on military at Military Tech 18, but I'm only Diplotech 12 and Admin Tech 10, and that's because my tech group is Indian, which makes techs cost 50% more, and I have no plans to ever westernize. I'm not going to westernize, but one of the things I learned in my research is that any nation can westernize extremely easily if you just take exploration as your first idea group, and then you go to South America down here, and then at 1500, when Portugal gets their first colony, you just wait until that colony is finished. Then they'll start a second colony right next to the first one. You attack Portugal with a no CB war, -2 stability and stuff, and you just seize the second colony, and then you immediately end the war and start westernization, because now you own a territory right next to Portugal. So that's how you westernize with any nation. It doesn't have to be Bamanas, but Bamanas can westernize that way really easily. So I was looking at somebody who had gotten the achievement that I'm going for, and that's how he westernized. And then, so yeah, it's way too late now. If I could go back in time, I might consider westernizing that way, but I don't know. One of the achievements that I was contemplating maybe going for is the Hindustan achievement, and some of my research has showed that you need to get Cape, which is somewhere in Africa, for that achievement, and you need to get Ottawa, which is indeed in Canada, and neither of those two things is actually a province. They're like a region, so there's like 5 provinces you need to get. So you need to take like 4 provinces in Canada and 4 provinces in Africa in order to get the achievement. And I think you can just do that with the imperialism CV, and you don't need to worry about colonizing in order to get there. But the way that the other dude got the achievement was to take exploration as their very first idea and to just colonize all of South America and all of Africa. So it seemed, I don't know, it seemed cool the way he did it, but I really hate colonization in general. Because then you'll be fighting a war over here. Like, it's hard enough to fight a war in the east and then have to scroll over and fight a war in the west. Like, I hate that. But way worse than that is fighting a war in the east, fighting a war in the west, fighting a war over here, and then fighting a war in South America. You spend all of your games scrolling the screen around, and I played Portugal like 3 or 4 times in a row, and it was super fun to deal with colonization. But after that, I just decided never again. I'm done with colonization. I've done it. Colonization was fun for a little while, but now I'm sick and tired of scrolling my camera around. I'm done with colonization. So I'm kind of glad that I went the way that I did, but it does mean that I'm probably never going to hit Diplotech 22, so it's a good thing that I fully fleshed out my religious idea. So current status of our lives is that we're waiting for some coring to happen, because we're at 80 overextension. And when the coring is done, we're going to take Gouda cheese. I don't think we need... Oh, Bengal, right. Bengal, the siege of Gouda, Bengal, yeah. So this is a 6 base tax province, which will give us a lot of overextension. I think total overextension is maybe 20 base tax that you're allowed to have. So each base tax is 8%. So 10 base tax would be 80%, right? No, each base tax is 4, so 20, maybe 25 base tax is how much you can core at once. So that'd be a fifth of my overextension right there. It's kind of a shame. But I'm going to get a call for peace on Gouda, and I'm going to have to decide whether to take it or leave it. And in the meantime, we're beating up over here the whatever the heck their names are. The Folkums. The Folkums of chocolate pudding. Chocolate pudding Folkums. Our military leader has died. Very sad. Because we just fired the other one, right? So now we have no military leader. Darn it. That's sad. But being able to stay ahead on military tech is more important to me than having a good general when I'm fighting someone who has no generals. So I'm just going to... Apparently I'm fighting with my king. I kind of... One of the resolutions, like New Year's resolutions, of this game that is different from the last playthrough was that I wasn't going to fight with my kings or my heirs, because I hate getting into regency councils, but I hate more having a 0 legitimacy king. And the way that Shias and Sunnis propagate kings, they tend to get multiple heirs, lots of heirs, than just the oldest one inherits, and so their heirs tend not to have a strong claim. So like this guy has a strong claim. He's the same dynasty as Orissa, and theoretically if he inherited the throne, that'd be fine, right? But when my king dies, this guy's not going to inherit the throne. He's got like maybe a 33% chance to inherit the throne, but there's multiple other heirs that aren't listed here, and sometimes one of them inherits with low legitimacy, and it's a pain in the butt. And I could be wrong about how that is, but all I know is that, and that's my explanation, that it doesn't come from any research, just for why sometimes you get a different heir than the one that's listed. I think that's why, but regardless, the point is that you do very often get a different heir than the one that's listed. And so you gotta try not to lose your king, man. So I'm going to get my king to stop chilling. In my army, because we don't really need him to be there right now. So we've got the hotkey mod, which means we can just hit N to take the general out of this army. And then no general. And we'll put the army back over there. Looks like the coalition against us collapsed. The Timurids have insulted us. Not very wise of them, Timurids. The coalition... I like the changes that they've made to the coalition mechanic. It makes world conquest-y type stuff way easier, which I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I certainly like it. Basically, coalitions will only form if the members of the coalition think that they can win a coalition war, because why would you enter a coalition against somebody if the whole coalition was made up of you and another one province minor, and the person you're coalitioning against is way more powerful than you? You know, like... Nations work in their own best interest. They've said, Paradox has said repeatedly, that the goal for the AI is to make the nations act as if they're playing multiplayer. They want this game to feel like each AI is out for themselves, not out to specifically attack the player. And they theoretically, if they did their job right, then a multiplayer game and a single player game would look identical. Now, obviously, that's not at all true, because the AI isn't very good compared to players, and I think that's true of every even remotely complicated game, is that players will just be better than AIs at it. But that's why coalitions have been changed in this way, and I think it makes more sense. Like, it's just it would be illogical for nations to basically suicide into you just because they're mad at you. Like, okay, I may not like you, my citizens may not like you, my government may not like you, but that's no reason for us to basically commit suicide as a nation. Alright, let's keep coring stuff. Look at our +3 stability, gotta love it. Yay! And Wanpur is the ultimate need to core this mother down, but it's currently being missionary converted. It's almost done. Now everyone is out of the coalition. Looks like we're going to get attacked up here in Mashhad. We're not going to use a general. I don't think we need one. It's going to be 16 against 20, 21. And that's fine. Actually, I might even win without a general, without a reinforcement. 'Cause I'm pretty far ahead on everything. I'm going to completely abandon the siege and come over. Actually, I should probably leave one. I'll leave a horse. Just to hold the progress of the siege. As long as anyone is in the province, we keep the siege progress because they prevent people from going out to go shopping, buy some food, eat a carrot. Alright, you go back in over there, and you come over there. And we're going to keep sieging up Persia. We do have a call for peace against Bengal, so I'm going to take the tiger and I'm going to eat him because he's delicious. I gotta wait for one of my diplomats to come home. Actually, I can probably just stop improving relations with Kashmir. I don't know why I was improving relations with Kashmir. I don't even know where Kashmir is. So, was I gonna vassalize Kashmir? Yeah, they are already my vassal. I accidentally inherited them as a vassal. I still got free relations slots, so I'm not worried about them. Anyway, piecing out with Bengal. I'm gonna. Should I take all their money? How much money do they have? They have a reasonable amount of money, and their trade power. Or I could take them as a vassal. How much do they hate me? They hate me a lot, so I wouldn't want to take them as a vassal. Or I could full annex. I'm gonna full annex them. But the problem is, this means the Persia War. We'd really like to have cored everything before the Persia War ends, and we're just not going to have the time. We need another 200 admin to core the remaining provinces, and then we need to wait for it to finish before the Persia War is over. We already have a call for peace against Persia. I'm going to stop sieging stuff, actually, because call for peace happens when they would give you a 100% war score, so there's no point in continuing the war. That's when you get call for peace. So one of the best ways to delay your call for peace, if you're in a situation like this where you don't want it, is to let them retake the war goal. In this case, we don't have a war goal, so we can't do that. But in general, just don't get to 100 war score, and they won't call for peace. It's good times. So I don't know if Persia's going to successfully beat up all of my vassals, and that I might be naughtily leaving my vassals in the dust here. Okay. I almost said it. Naughtily, haughtily. And I am going to focus admin whenever I can. 14, 6, 5, well, that's not for 15 years, man. Apparently we just refocused military pretty recently. Maybe we should hire a +3 advisor up here, but I love the yearly inflation reduction is one of my best friend advisors. Because we have gold mines. I mean, we're in India. Of course we have gold mines. So, I think I'm going to defund my army. I'm not planning to fight for quite a while. This is a desert, right? A dry land. Can't really support this many troops. But too bad, because we are too lazy to have our troops be in 2 separate provinces. That would be crazy. 2 separate provinces? That's nuts. I guess we kind of wanted to split this into 3 groups. So let's split off 10 cannons and 4 horses and 7 dudes. So that's how you split an army into thirds. You just right click the bars up here and it sends half, and then you send half back, and then you send half again, and then you send half again, and now you got a third of your troops. You just keep right clicking it until you've got a third. But now I want half of each instead, which of course you can accomplish just by hitting S. There should be another hotkey besides S that splits it into thirds, because how dare they make me spend a couple of seconds splitting my army into thirds? That's not right. And we're gonna rename these again. Fight 1. Renaming them doesn't really help anything. I just like renaming things. It's fun, and it gives you this cute little blue and red flag. And who wouldn't want a cute little blue and red flag? And we actually Yeah, we've got all mercenaries now. We don't have any non-mercenary army left. I remember last time we completely disbanded a whole bunch of troops because of that. So new king. We actually did get the 100 legitimacy 144 king this time, so that's lucky for us. Notice we've already got a 25-year-old heir. And this guy is obviously not the son of this guy, right? Because this guy is 32 and this guy's 25, so we would have had to have him when he's 7. So this is what I'm saying is the Sunni and Shia nations don't seem to just go from father to son. Their heirs are like brothers and sisters and yodeling peasants and stuff. Yodeling peasants. So we need to core some more territory. And our war exhaustion is getting high because we're waiting for cores to complete. But what can you do, man? I gotta wait for these cores. So it looks like maybe, since I can't take too much overextension, maybe I could take Baluchistan as a vassal and then feed them some stuff. Who's got... Yeah, Baluchistan has cores on all of this territory. Well, not this anymore. I guess they lost some of their cores, but they've got cores on all of the desert anyway. And they don't particularly hate me. So yeah, I'll release Baluchistan. So these provinces, which are all one base tax, will become Baluchistan. Then over here, these are purely Persian provinces. I want some of these. So how much base tax can we afford to take overextension-wise? We're about to have 60% overextension, which means we can only take 40, which means 10 base tax. So we can take 10 non-Baluka provinces. So 7, 8, 9, and that would put us over. Hardly anything. It's possible we could sell Hormuz to Baluchistan. Persian and Baluchi seem to both be in the same culture group, maybe. But what if we can't, you know? What if we take it and then we can't sell it? And then we die to overextension? Because overextension is the easiest way to just die. Well, let's wait for the next core to finish up here. August, September 5th. So I think I'm going to take just these 3 provinces. Is there like... Oh, this is a 2 base tax province. This is a 1 base tax province. So if I take these 4 provinces and then these 2... Not that I need the 2 and 1 base tax provinces at all, so why take them? That's just a little silly. So where's... Silk. Silk is here. Yeah. Okay. Core complete. Alright. So let's take all of the Baluchi provinces. And then... Oop, we can't take all of what we want anyway. So good. We're definitely not going to have overextension now. Is this a Baluchi province? This is a Baluchi province, so we might as well take that too. There we go. We can't get that. Well, I don't care. Baluchi is just an excuse not to get overextension. We don't really care about it. All right. We got 4 more war score. That's good. All right, and that puts our overextension at 120. And then we're going to release Baluchistan. Baluka. Baby Baluchistan. Baby Baluchistan. Is the water warm? Oh no, we can't release Baluchistan because they still exist. Well, that's not good. Let's see if we can release something else. Well, that's not good at all. Alright, well, we've got 120% overextension, which isn't really the end of the world. We're going to get a lot of revolts. Maybe we can release Wanpur or Ormuz. I mean, obviously we can release Wanpur, right? But what would go with them if we released Wanpur? And where is this Ormuz place? Ormuz is up here. They're Kokond. Is this Kokond? Is this Kokond? So if I release Kokond, it would only be 2 provinces, and one of them is 5 base tax. I'd lose one of my silks, and it's already on its way to being cored, so it's not really that big of a deal. So let's look into releasing Wanpur or Bengal. So many nations, ridiculous. Wanpur would be 9 provinces, no dice. Bengal would be 11, no dice. Is there anyone else who has cores here? No. Nope. Alright, well. Guess we're just gonna have to fight rebels for a while. Yep. Rebel fighting time. Here's rebel fighting time. Alright, so we'll spread out our armies in a rebel fighting positions. Rebel fighting positions. Assume the position. The rebel fighting position. There you go. And we're going to fund the army as soon as the first rebel spawns. Oop, there we go. Sweet. 233 more manpower. Not bad. And all of this new territory... Oh, this revolt risk is very low because we have 3 stability. But still, I kind of want... So our rebels aren't going to come from normal revolt risk. What's going to happen is we're going to get events that reduce our legitimacy, reduce our stability, and increase rebel sentiment all over the place. I should probably put 1 army on each of the places that I'm trying to core. So you go to Bengal, you go up here, or at least close enough to there that you can get there really quickly. Then you go over here. And we can finally have rivals. I don't really want to rival anyone though, because we can't rival Persia anymore. Wow, that's really sad. We're so big we can't even rival Persia. Freaking Persia, man. Persia's big, strong, powerful, and they have chocolate salty breasts. We lost the stability when our king died, so we're only at +2 stability. Very sad. Managing overextension. We need 16 admin. Come on, baby. And we just got a whole bunch more sea provinces, so we should be able to get more ships, but apparently not. Apparently we were already over on ships, so see, we got a -1 stability thing. We're obviously not going to click on that, because who would be in a rush to get -1 stability as fast as possible? It's a little silly. Gouda cheese. It's going to be our Gouda cheese. It's not just going to be any old Gouda cheese. So Delhi needs to be annexed because Delhi's actually my favorite. I'm gonna keep them. I'm gonna annex Orissa. Orissa has been good to me as well, but Delhi is richer. You should annex your vassals in order of the least useful to the most useful, so that you keep the most useful ones the longest. Obviously Kashmir is the least useful, but I don't think they're ready. So anyone that we don't plan to attack ever again, we should probably improve relations with, but like Gujarat and Mewar and Afghanistan, they're all going to enter coalitions against us if we don't improve relations with them. Very sad, very sad. And our further conquests will be so far out of their culture and religious groups that I think that they should generally just be friendly with us for the rest of the game if we improve relations with them and wait long enough. So I want to expand in the east, but I'm a little afraid of my overextension. I don't have the admin points to expand anywhere, so let's be nice and patient until our overextension gets a little lower. Yay. You get a lot of events that are like, would you like a permanent buff to the defensiveness of a specific province, or would you like, you know, a ham sandwich, like something stupid that you don't even care about, like +1 military power or something. And obviously the best option is always the +1 defensiveness to that province, but it's such a small boost that, like, I feel like just having that pop-up is a small annoyance, but the boost you get for having the province is even smaller, so I'd rather just do away with that event altogether. Like, screw you, stupid pop-up, go away. Lots of bad things happening. So, Wanpur has revolted. We're going to need to fund our army and bring 2 armies in. You guys come and fight the Wanpur nationalists. And we might need to get one of our kings to fight, because I don't know if I want to hire a general. What's our army tradition? 73, I do want to hire a general. 6-1, holy cow, I do want to hire a general. I so want to hire a general. My general hiring is exceptional. 71 army tradition, not bad. First circumnavigation, yay, Norway, good work. They sailed the ship all the way around the world. Alright, so you go to Gouda cheese, and you go back over to the west. We're going to keep corn stuff, and then we're going to attack Ayutthaya. Ayutthaya, so youthful, and so ya. As soon as this is done, I will be under 100 overextension, and I can go to war again. Spare no expense. Always reminds me of Jurassic Park whenever I spare no expense. I cannot but be reminded. You hear that a lot in books and movies, like, I cannot but be. You didn't think I'd be offended. How could I but be offended? It's like nobody talks like that because no one's just going to like say but in the middle of a sentence and not expect the people they're talking to giggle at them. It's okay on TV because everyone does it with a straight face, and so it seems totally natural. But in normal conversation, if you're like, I cannot but be offended, they'd be like, you cannot but? What? You're awesome. Way to cannot but. The key to happiness in life is to cannot but. All right, cannot but. Let's not cannot but be offended. I think that's going to be it for this video, and then we're gonna go for this one up here. And in order to get to Dali's lands, we're gonna carve a path through Lanzang, Viet, and Dali, and if that doesn't seem wise enough, we'll just go straight through Ava and Dali. But we need to take so many provinces from Dali that it'd take multiple wars if we went this way. Whereas this way we could get 3 wars with 3 nations and just get straight there. So I'll be back, man.